Hit me with that lights, camera action. Vibe catching eyes like an Aston. Smooth as the Bachelor. Giving y'all the news with the freshness. Live from the couch, we address it. Culture know our guest beat. Flowing on the ocean like a jet ski. Separate circle, gotta bring your best for the best beat. And dress to impress on the tube like the ESPYs. Channel 50 where you catch it. For real, this the vibe, dog. This the vibe, dog. This the vibe, this the vibe, this the vibe, dog. Say this the vibe, dog. This the vibe, dog.
What's up, guys? I'm Bruce Claxton.
And I'm Jocelyn Hockaday. Welcome back to another episode of The Vibe, Temple University's first and only hip-hop culture show.
On today's show, we have some great segments lined up for you, featuring some local producers you'll love, and a recap of this year's Grammys.
Now sit back and enjoy the show. Hey everybody, I'm Jocelyn Hockaday.
I'm Bruce Claxton.
I'm Randy Lane.
And I'm Lauren Jackson. Welcome to our new segment, Gold School.
In pairs, we picked two classic hip-hop albums to celebrate right here on The Vibe.
So, I'm dying to know, what album did you guys choose?
Lauren and I chose Miseducation, Lauryn Hill by the Queen herself, Miss Lauryn Hill.
Yeah, I love her.
We do too.
Yeah. I really like this album because she perfectly mixed R&B with hip-hop and showed people that she can not only sing, but she can also rap too, and write, which is really cool. What about you?
What I really love about this album is, just like with all music, it tells a story in general, but I think that this is just a masterpiece that's really cohesive and refreshing, and it tells a story about a pivotal yet bittersweet moment in her life, especially with the relationship between her and Wyclef Jean from the Fugees, just her having an unplanned pregnancy, how that would impact her life. And I think that this is just almost like a time capsule of sorts, in the way that it captures just her moments in her life at that time and how that would impact the rest of her life as a woman, a black woman in the hip hop industry, what it meant for her journey throughout her days. So,
yeah, word. What are your guys' favorite tracks on there?
Oh, I'm practically going to list the whole album, but I would say Doo-Wop, To Zion, Nothing Even Matters, X Factor, Lost Ones have to be my favorites.
Lost Ones, okay.
What about you?
I have to say I agree. The whole album is pretty much a bop, but the song that I really love is Tell Him. That song, you could tell that she's conflicted with herself, especially the love at the time that she had for her significant other. So I really love that song, and also To Zion. I could play that all the time.
To Zion?
Yeah,
that was
everybody's like,
yeah, To Zion's definitely one of my faves, or whatchamacallit, Doo-Wop. Yeah, that thing. I was listening to that earlier today.
She ate that. Me too.
There are a lot of bops on that album.
Yeah, for sure. I also love like the one aspect that you talked about, the Fugees. I love the transition from her and that group coming to her one and only album, you know. And another thing that I'll transition to is just the impact that that album had made on the industry. Like you said, you know, adding the lyricism, adding the production that you can still see that is featured in today's music, or that is influenced in people's songs, but also influencing modern female rappers. I mean, the female rappers or females in hip hop in general are definitely making a rise up, and I love to see it.
What about y'all? What album did you guys choose?
We chose Illmatic by Nas.
Nas.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not Nas.
Nas, yeah, my guy.
No, yeah.
What are your favorite tracks, you'd say?
I would say my ultimate favorite track is The World Is Yours. I feel like I often find myself vibing out to that song. I feel him being a technical MC and just his flow, his breath control, just his creativity, especially on that song. I feel like he was able to play around with it a little bit, and I just find it very fun. And this is supposed to be a reference to also the movie Scarface. I don't know if you've seen that. But yeah.
My little friend, of course.
Yes. So The World Is Yours, I feel like it's just a really powerful statement, especially for putting this album out and being from New York and kind of amplifying the messages and the voices that were going unheard in New York. So yeah.
I agree. One of my favorite, one of my favorite songs, because it's only like technically a 9-track album, excluding, Genesis. But favorite track would probably be Life's a Bitch. I love the vibe it gives. I love AZ's feature. And I love kind of like Lauryn Hill, like her storytelling aspect through her album. Nas did the same thing, kind of like giving us a step into his life, giving us a step into how it was for him inside of inner city New York. Especially during Genesis, like the train entering, like it's not just his lyrics, but it's the production as well. Like it's truly, like Lauryn Hill, a masterpiece.
It's a legendary album.
Yeah,
it
made
is.
history.
I feel like it is the basis of what a hip hop album is supposed to be. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like,
Great choice, guys.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad we got to revisit those classics and share them with you guys.
That's all we have for Gold School, and we hope you guys enjoyed it.
Hey y'all, we have a very special guest for y'all today. We have a collective of music producers joining us, and we're gonna get to know them a little bit more about them. So go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm Luca. Obviously, I go to Temple. I'm a Boyer student. I do music technology, and I make music on my laptop for a bunch of artists in New York City.
Hello, I'm Sam, music producer, entrepreneur, advertising major. And I make music for cool people.
I'm Joshua Morel from New York. I'm a producer as well, also a live musician. I've been playing music since I was 4 years old, and I'm a finance major at Temple University.
Nice. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the questions. How did you guys meet each other?
I think I first met Sam at Temple on Instagram because we both post music on Instagram and our work on our Instagram. So we connected on Instagram, then we met in person, started making music, and we also played basketball together. And I met Josh through Sam at the basketball court.
Yeah. Well, I met Luca through Instagram because I heard of him before, and I was like, oh, he go to Temple, and just hit him up. And he was a freshman, so obviously, got to show him out on campus. And then I met Josh through basketball, and we just used to talk about music, but he just said, I play keys and I do this. I'm like, nah. And then one day I actually pulled up on him, he was playing keys. I'm like, oh, this is fire. So that's how we got cool, and we just always making beats together. Yeah.
I met Sam through playing basketball. Like he said, we always talked about how we both do producing, playing live music, and one day we actually met up and we made fire beats. I met Luca through Sam, and we've been cool ever since. So yeah.
What was one of the first things that y'all produced?
Me personally, it was this artist from New York, Ron Suno, and it was a song featuring Smooth L, this other artist from New York. It was called Bussin'. It was like 2 years ago in 2020, or 3 years ago in 2020. That was the first one for me.
Me personally, if you say I don't know, I feel like it depends. With my friend named Jay, I did a song with him, Jay Picasso. He used to go to Temple too, Picasso. Yeah, and I was like, my first placement, but if you want to be honest, my first placement will be with the Yellow Tape Boys from New York, from Queens, my guy Diora. That was my first song with him, and then from there, yeah.
I recently just had a first placement with the piano cover. Shout out my guy EJ from back home. So also I had another placement with my friend Sam, TG Crippy, his latest album.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. I see both of y'all got a lot of New York influences. What type of music influences your craft?
Definitely drill music. In high school, I was listening to Pop Smoke. Like every song I was listening to was Pop Smoke. He influenced me to start making beats, and obviously the production started influencing me to start making music too. So.
We're all from New York, so that whole New York sound, has influenced me. But what influenced me to make music is just my background of from African history, because I'm Ghanaian, and I just been playing drums and piano and all these other stuff before I started really going to music production. So what influences me music now, I think, is my life experiences and what I go through. So whatever I go through outside, I come inside and I just make the beats. So yeah.
A big influence is church. I grew up in church, and like I said, I'm a live musician as well. So I started off with that before I went to music production, and so I knew I wanted to further progress in music with production as well. So that's when I started doing producing and making melodies and stuff like that.
And so like your guys' backgrounds are like all kind of different. Like, did you ever like first coming together and like doing work together? Did y'all ever like come into any like bumps, or like did you guys bump any heads, or did you guys just just smoothly just got off right at the bat when it came to like working together and like making music?
I feel like with Sam and Josh could also say this, I'm so picky when I make music, so like it takes a minute for me to like hear something that I like, but when we hear it, it's up from there. It's smooth from there after we find the thing.
Yeah, I feel like it takes right ear to make music, cause like you could hear like this is far, but you guys feel inspired to actually sit there and make the beat. So when we make beats, we just don't just make. Sometimes you do like a warm-up beat where it's like we're just trying to get started, and then second beat, third beat starts really cooking up.
Yeah, exactly. Coming from the melody side, I really do more of the melodies when I'm working with them or anybody, and really it's my job to make sure that they could feel the melody and the beat, because they're doing the drums. So, and they want to make a beat, but make it like a hit, make it fire, not just a regular beat, but make it a different sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And like with doing music, I know like a lot of like artists run into this, but also producers. Like, do you guys run into any like hardships when it comes to maybe the music industry or making music, and like how did y'all overcome them?
Well, for me, the music industry is a very weird place to begin music and just go in without anyone kind of telling you like what the word is with it. But I feel like there's always going to be like sketchy people in business, and especially in the music industry. So you just kind of look out for that and just kind of keep going and trust people who you like, and keep a circle of people you trust and go up with them.
Yeah.
I was told the music industry's, especially as a producer, it's 10% production, 90% business.
Facts.
Where you actually got to understand the business. You got to teach yourself about like different royalties and paperwork and finding a lawyer and all these other stuff. So I feel like you want to get into the industry, you got to really teach yourself the music industry and the music business before you want to just, I want to make beats and get paid. It's not really how it works. There's more to it. So I didn't really know that. I had to teach myself a lot of these stuff just through experiences. And so me not getting paid for this and me not doing that, I learned about like different performances and royalties and all these other stuff through that. So I feel like, business is shady in general,
Yeah.
So you just gotta understand what you're doing and understand the business.
Yeah, for sure.
Going off of Sam, for me, I'm someone who's going into the industry new and like just starting. Having Sam just, telling me like certain things, how to maneuver things, how to go about things in the industry, it's a big help, because I'd never really done this until maybe 2 years ago. So just, starting from the beginning and having someone, right there just helping you and going through the industry, it's been a big help.
It's definitely a big learning experience, I'm sure, for like all of y'all.
Yeah.
Like just I see it too. You see it with any industry, honestly, because everything's connected to business. So I definitely feel that.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna kind of get into like your influences, like musical influences. Like, what's your guys' favorite like pastime, or like era? I would say of like music.
Oh yeah, I gotta go. I ain't gonna lie.
You got that?
We gotta talk. We're gonna start with pastime. That's a lot, because my music influence changed a lot. When it comes to production, I look into DJ Premier. I look into like that whole Nas late '80s, early '90s hip hop era. Biggie, Nas, Tupac. That's my favorite era of music. I'll say early '90s, late '80s, early '90s, maybe 2000s. That whole era is just different. That's when hip hop starts to get appreciated more, And I think that really changed the sounds that we have now, And then early 2000s too. That's when trap really became a thing, with T.I. and them. So yeah, those 3 decades are like my favorite ever. And then now it's Afrobeats, but
Yeah, and you always gotta include it. How about y'all?
For me, it wasn't too far back, to be honest. What really got me into producing, like Nick Mira, for example, in Internet Money, 808 Mellow, UK producer, Axel, both from the UK. I feel like just the 2016s to 21s of drill music, that era really got me inspired, to be honest.
Yeah.
For me, I have a lot of different genres of music. Like, so gospel was what I really started off with, gospel and jazz and classical. I've been classically trained for 14 years, so I've really been doing that my whole life. And then going into the production side, I would say like 2016, 2015, and then from then on, like what's the producer's name? Southside. The ATL sound itself, ATL Jacob, or like those producers, like I really like I admire them, watching them, just how they start the production and how they start their beats, stuff like that.
I ain't gonna lie, Kanye West is #1 though.
Yeah.
That
Kanye.
the way he, because
Yeah.
I like to flip samples a lot, and the way he used to flip samples is just so different. Or like Prodigy, if you know, like Prodigy and Hovig.
Yeah.
From Mobb Deep, the way they be flipping stuff influenced me to do what I do now, sort of, and then yeah.
Yeah, like
Kanye.
I definitely agree. Like 2016, like that era, that was a time. And then whatchamacallit, the 90s, like I grew up on that. So like Mobb Deep, all of those, I can definitely see the influences and how kind of things have changed. I think that's pretty interesting too.
Alchemist,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pharrell is a big one too.
Oh, yeah,
Neptunes
Pharrell,
are a big one for me
Neptunes,
too.
Alchemist, I could keep going.
Yeah.
They,
Facts.
like,
Yeah.
Zaytoven,
Timberland's a goat.
Timberland,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Timberland and
Yeah.
Kanye are my goats, for real, for
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Neptunes are my goat, Chad, all of them.
What's like your relationship between each other like today? Like since how has it changed
Wow.
Whoa.
since y'all's met?
I'm like the old dude. So I'm like the older one. So I'm like usually to myself, but they always try to force me to come outside and make beats with them and stuff because I got a lot going on. But they're like my brothers at this point. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, facts.
We just be pulling up to chill sometimes, play
Yeah.
ball or like
Yeah.
make beats, like
Like
just whatever the vibe is.
go and get food.
Go and
Yeah.
get food.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's bigger than music. Like
Yeah.
it's like a brotherhood. Like
Mhm.
at first it's just we're working business, but then next thing you know we grow a relationship. Like I can call them, I could call them too, and they'd answer like, "Yo, what's up? Like you need anything?"
Yeah.
Like
Hell yeah.
and likewise the same thing with me. Like they need anything, I got them. Because we're we're often kind of the same place, so we just build a friendship here.
Yeah. Do you think like in the like music industry, the aspect of brotherhood y'all spoke about, do you think it needs to be more of that, or do you think
Yes.
there isn't enough? Like
Yeah.
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 I feel, oh.
I was also gonna say like in New York especially, like a lot of the artists aren't like united. And I feel like artists, producers gotta unite more and kind of like take over together instead of being against one another. Cause again, the industry, like a lot of producers aren't treated the best in most case scenarios, and not most case scenarios, but they aren't treated as how they should be. And I feel like producers building relationships together and going up together really like helps that.
Yeah, Mike Well-Made said that mastermind is not just one person, it's a collective. So once we all do production together, we all eat. So I never understood the idea of not working together, and especially from New York. That's why ATL is so big and like they're always rising because they always work together. So coming from New York, I feel like working together and just learning each other's sound, and that will help us, find a whole different protocol of music.
Okay.
All right, unfortunately it came to an end, so thank you Josh, thank you Sam, and thank you Luca for joining us and coming on The Vibe onto UTV. We hope to see more of you guys in the future.
Hi everyone, I'm Bruce Claxton.
I'm Randy Lane.
And I'm Lauren Jackson, and we're here with you today with a hot topic. We're about to talk about America's biggest music ceremony, the Grammys.
Some people got some huge wins, some performed, and some showed off on the runway. So Lauren, how did you feel about the Grammys this year?
I felt like it was a really interesting night. I felt like this was one of the most diverse nights we've seen in years in terms of the artists that were nominated, the fashion that we saw, the projects that ended up getting some recognition. But in terms of, I should say, the Grammys actually executing that progress and showing some diversity within what won versus what was snubbed was a little bit of a letdown, but I will say I was very proud to see some of my Black queens out there winning, serving, getting some of the accolades that they deserved. And yeah, what about you, Randy?
I felt like I'm usually not one to watch award shows, especially nowadays, but with the Grammys, I was definitely tuned in, mostly for Beyonce, but after a while, with the hip hop tribute and all the other amazing artists just there having fun and receiving their awards, even if some projects weren't the best in my opinion, I still enjoyed watching it and seeing everyone happy.
I did love that tribute. I felt like that was really amazing, especially seeing that it was the 50th anniversary of hip hop and seeing all those decades of artists come through, show out with their biggest projects, really get the audience hype and just show, hey, this is the vibe and this is why we love music and hip hop. I think that was a great tribute.
Most definitely. A lot of people had some hot takes on Twitter and stuff, but I thought it was pretty good.
I
mean,
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Those are some of my favorite songs in the world. Those are some of my favorite artists, and seeing them out here still living life, still receiving the flowers that they should be with how much of an impact they've had on hip hop and just the culture and the world in general. I think it was great for them to receive that.
It was good to see my queens, Queen Latifah.
Queen Latifah!
Like, no.
We love us some Queen Latifah.
I was hyped. I was really hyped.
I was so hyped. And Busta Rhymes.
Everybody showed out.
Like, everybody showed up and showed out.
They even incorporated new artists, like Glorilla was there, which I was surprised to see. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And she came out on top.
No, I was not expecting to see her, but
it was nice seeing the generations of hip hop artists and how far we've come from like the first real hip hop artist ever.
Absolutely, and starting at the beginning with Grandmaster Flash and just seeing the evolution to groups like Salt and Peppa, my girls. I think it was just a really great chance just to show not just how much hip hop has evolved and influenced culture, but how Black people have influenced pop culture and just the world overall.
Most definitely. 50 years, hip hop.
Speaking of recognition in Black culture, guys, I feel like we gotta talk about it. Harry Styles winning Album of the Year with Harry's House instead of Renaissance by Beyonce or Bad Bunny's album. How do we feel, guys?
Personally, I don't really listen to Harry Styles. I listen to his very popular songs. So when I found out that he won instead of Beyonce's Renaissance, I was kind of confused because isn't like only one song on the album like really popular for better?
Couldn't name one song.
I will say I do like Harry's music. I am a fan of his style. I love his stage presence. I think he has great vocals for the type of music that he makes. However, when we're talking about Album of the Year and just kind of what that means in essence of who it impacted the most, what the audience received from it, how much replay value it has that isn't just on the radio but is for people's daily lives and what it means to people, I think that there's no better album than Renaissance or Un Verano that really covered what it meant not just for people but specifically for minority groups such as Black people, Black queer people, Hispanics, just covering what it means to live and be prideful of who you are. I felt like both of those albums resonated with so many people and so many people expected for them to receive those accolades and for it to be given to somebody whose project might have had more in streams or popularity but not as much resonance with the general population. It kind of stung because I felt like we really got to a point where we were going to see Beyonce get the awards that she deserved.
It was crazy because I think I was reading an article that said that she's been snubbed for her past few albums in that category.
She really has.
And I found that crazy.
With I'm Sasha Fierce, self-titled, Lemonade, and Renaissance. Anytime Adele has to get up on the stage and say, I don't deserve this, Beyonce does, is wild. And I think that a lot of the discussion around it is really just one-sided, just especially because talking about like, oh, she is the most awarded with 32 Grammys. She should just be happy with what she has. Of course she's happy with what she has. She's the most achieved. But at the same time, this is a pattern. I mean, we're seeing it being a constant thing where they almost prop her up on a pedestal to show, hey, we're nominating her. She's the greatest. She's this, she's that. Isn't it so great that we are nominating her? We're giving her this. And then when it comes to the time where everyone expects for it to be her, they're like, actually, we're going to give it to somebody else who nobody really thought was going to get it, even though they may be talented in their own right. I feel like that even their light gets taken away because everybody's kind of like, yeah, they're great or whatever, but this should have been Beyonce's.
I feel like I've saw this theory. I feel like they nominate Beyonce just to get her there, to be honest, because, you know, viewership, like I tuned in because Beyonce was coming. So I feel like that's what they did. Like Beyonce's nominated for countless categories. She's going to be at the award show. Tune in. See her win her 32nd Grammy, I believe, and become the most awarded Grammy artist and get, I believe it was Album of the Year. I feel like that was it. Like they want to get people watching it, so Beyonce's here.
And I feel like Beyonce is just the main culprit when it comes to this issue with the Grammys. But it's not just Beyonce, it's Black people overall. Because yes, this was a year in which we saw artists like Lizzo and Samara Joy get nominated, win things, receive their accolades. But at the same time, it shouldn't have to be 1 in every 10 Grammys where we see something and we're like, wow, that's so great. They got what they deserved. And then we see the main person who has been putting in the work for over 30 years. And then next thing you know, it's like she doesn't get anything that we know she deserves. And at this point, I mean, I don't know, it's whether we take that out on the Grammys and say, hey, y'all need to start doing better, or if we just start putting more effort and reciprocation into Black award shows that are not just trying to have diversity picks for specific categories, but are recognizing every Black person out there that's really putting in the work in the entertainment industry.
Most definitely. It's a conversation that's been like starting to appear more often, especially amongst like hip hop legends and famous rappers nowadays. Because like a lot of these people don't want to go to these award shows because it's like, it's not fair. Like people are putting in the numbers, but it's just like at the end of the day, you're getting snubbed, and nobody wants to sit there and watch that. Nobody wants to bring their presence to an award show just for them not to win, just for their communities to like be overlooked. So
Exactly.
Now, I know you guys have some thoughts about the fashions. Do we want to get into that?
Black China.
ooh,
I don't know.
jump scare.
Yeah.
A silence falls over the room.
Yeah, Black China, the outfit, it was questionable for sure. I don't know what her stylist was thinking.
I think this was really just a year where people are trying to experiment again. They're like, we're out the house, we outside, we gotta show y'all what we made of, we gotta show you what we cut. Like
I guess.
Cardi B's outfit, that
Absolutely
royal
stunning.
blue,
No, yeah, she
the
looks
setting
beautiful.
around her, gorgeous, stunning.
Absolutely.
And Lizzo's outfits all night with the gold accents and her long hair, absolutely stunning. Beyonce,
Most definitely.
I love her
stunning,
dress.
stunning.
Fashionably late.
We love to
She was
see it. I
fashionable.
think the fashions were great. I think there were some bold choices, to say it the best.
I feel like you don't experiment with something like the Grammys.
Yeah.
I feel like you do that on your Instagram feed, maybe, and then
Most definitely.
You see how many likes it gets, and you're like,
should I wear this or
no.
not?
maybe not next time.
Yeah.
But there were some simple looks out. Not simple looks, but there were some people that looked pretty good. Like
Yeah.
Doja Cat, she had that nice black, I think it was like latex, but it was nice and shiny.
Yes.
She looked mad good. And Little Uzi, I like Little Uzi. He's fun to see. Thames, she looked absolutely stunning. It was nice to see her there. And yeah.
So overall, a great night with some both interesting and disappointing twists, but
So,
overall, definitely fun to watch.
I think it's one of the better Grammys, most definitely.
Definitely.
Definitely. It's been great, guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys for joining us for this conversation, and we hope you enjoyed this year's Grammys. So until then, we'll see you later. What an episode. I don't know about you, but I had a blast.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, y'all, for joining us at The Vibe.
We'll see you soon in the next one.